What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me on the road in
Yes, sir.
Oklahoma City. I
Shout
gotta
out,
hear.
okay. Shout out, OKC.
I gotta hear about this. We're gonna talk the NBA playoffs, man. We got some notes from every series. We've been watching them all. We're gonna break down what we think of every series so far, East West side. A lot of interesting stuff going on. We got some 1-1s. We got some 2-0s. We're gonna break it on down. Then Adrian Wojnarowski had a comment yesterday on NBA Today, or whatever the new NBA show is called on ESPN. NBA
NBA today,
Today.
man. Don't disrespect Malika like that.
NBA Today. All right, there it is. He had some comments that they were talking about the Kyrie situation and the Boston fans, and he said he believes the vitriol between the fans and the players is only going to get worse because of gambling and live gambling. People are losing money on the spot, and the guy losing their money is right in front of them. So it's gonna get worse. The shit talking is gonna get worse. The relationship between the players and the fans is gonna get worse. I'll play that clip. We'll talk about that. Well, we got a couple ideas on that because we gamble a little bit ourselves, and we've been known to be in the building as well. But stay locked with us, man. All NBA, all fun. Let's see what Nick's up to in Oklahoma. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. Stay locked.
Man, look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you gonna play it. You gonna do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that, and it became personal with me.
Big Nick the Quick, what's happening?
What's the business? How we feeling?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
Chilling out in Oklahoma, man. You already know. You know the vibes.
What? Is you out there for work?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Is everything you thought it would be?
Ever be out here? Yeah, I've been out here a couple of times actually. Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Yeah, everything I thought it would be. Last time I was out here, I actually went to a Thunder game. I think I had told y'all that. I found tickets for like $20. And then I did what we do, which is, you wait a little bit. Next thing you know, you sit in the third row. And
facts.
it was that game where Devontae Graham hit that wild ass game winner. That was a four-point shot. So that was actually dope, man. Shout out the Thunder Arena. They support their team. I'll give them that. It's a trash squad, obviously, but like, you walk around, folks got SGA jerseys on, so they definitely go hard.
You don't see no Lou Dorts?
No Lou Dorts, bro. I need to holler at them about that, man. If I'm out here, I got a Lou Dort joint. But yeah, other than that, man, it's I love Chicago, man.
Leave it at that. All right, let's jump right into it because we got a lot of hoops to talk, and we're known to run over the hour. So, where you want to start, big dog? You want to start east? You want to start west?
Let's start in the east.
All right, let's start
at the very beginning. Let's go 1-8. What do we got? Let's go Miami, Atlanta.
Okay. Talk to me, because last night.
No contest.
TKO, huh?
Yeah, no contest.
Why is that, you think? Because yesterday, well, let's start with game one, right?
Yeah.
Our guy Trae Young got locked up.
That was a bad spot. They had just played that play-in game on Friday night. They turned around and played the 12:30 Sunday game, which was wild. In Miami against a team that's better than them, coming off that emotional victory where Trae left it all on the line. Like that was, you know what, man? There was two gambling spots I feel like we missed in this playoffs. That game and last night Memphis. Those were two like layup gambling spots that I feel like we would normally like be like, hey, like Memphis coming off that loss, it's a wrap. I don't care if it's 12.
Right.
Give me that. And this game, because of everything I just said. So I was literally thinking about that before the pod. Like, man, those were layups. But yeah, game one, I mean, I think they didn't have a chance. Obviously, last night, I'll let you go on game one.
No. I'm gonna say that that was a good call out on the situational, because those are the spots you got to look for when you're gambling too, especially if you're trying to see how a game's gonna tilt. You got to look at those situational spots of coming off a short emotional win and then playing in Miami at 12:30.
30 hours later.
Yeah, exactly. But still, Trae gets locked up. They just don't allow him to play his game. Miami's one of the best defensive squads against point guards in the league. So he's struggled against them. Point guards across the league have struggled against them purely on the fact that everybody on the floor can switch and play D, any position, whatever you want. Bam Adebayo on the perimeter. That whole thing.
And Kyle Lowry is the primary defender on the point guard. And you know, Kyle Lowry is 100% about that.
And he's an irritant. He does whatever. The thing about Kyle, and I think that's why he's such a perfect fit, is he does whatever needs to be done. You need me to flop around and get people texts and draw a bunch of fouls? I'll do
Elite
that.
Elite flopper.
You need me to score? I could do that too. I can go fill it up for 20, 25, no problem. You need me to kind of run PG and run the show? I could do that too. So they're really good against point guards. Trey gets locked up. They get smashed in the first game. Then last night, they come out and it's extremely competitive in the beginning of the game, right? Miami starts to open it up. Bogdanovich starts going nuts.
That's one of your guys, right?
That's my guy.
He's SL All-Star?
Dude, I fuck with all Bogdanoviches. I fuck with Utah Bogdanovich. I fuck with Bogdan Bogdanovich out in Atlanta. Yeah, I fuck with all the Bogdanoviches. But yeah, like you said, no contest, man. How
and Jimmy was incredible last night.
Yeah, can we talk about that?
Yeah, obviously, you know, and the thing, it's funny, man, with Jimmy,
was he 15 or 22?
15 to 25, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's like a classic Jimmy, like, fuck it type game, man. I'm gonna go ahead and out, because he doesn't always play like that. Like, you watch Jimmy sometimes and he's trying to get everybody involved and doesn't necessarily always flex his muscles on offense. And we know his offensive game is not pretty, right? Like, that's another thing with Jimmy. He doesn't look like KD out there. Like, Jimmy, everything that Jimmy Butler does on the basketball court looks like it's hard work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Scoring is hard work for Jimmy Butler. Like, defending is hard work for Jimmy Butler. Just showing up to giving a post-game interview is hard work for Jimmy Butler. But like games like last night when he's feeling and he's in that groove and he's hitting jumpers and he's getting to the line, he gets to the line. We always talk about that. Jimmy Butler gets to the line maybe better than anybody in the league as far as just using that as a way to get a quick 10 points for him in a game. And just last night, they couldn't do anything with him. I don't think it helps that Atlanta's missing Capella, that Collins is coming off of that injury, right? Because, again, they're already overmatched against Miami. Miami's a better team defensively. I think position by position, Miami is better than them. And then you add in those injuries, I think it's just a tough spot. Now, I do think that Atlanta is electric at home. I think there was something like 20-3 at home this year if you count the play-in games.
They closed. I think it was they closed the year 20-3 or something or this half of the year they're 20-3. Their overall record was like they lost a bunch of games early and then they closed like their last 23 games. They were 20-3 at home.
Yeah, fire at home. And so obviously you've been to the A. That crowd is going to be rocking. They support Trey and those guys out there. So they could fuck around and steal game 3. But I think when we're talking about overall for this series, and obviously it's a 1-8, so this is no shocker. I think Miami takes this probably in 5. I think Atlanta steals game 3. Miami takes it in 5.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And I think I don't know. I don't even know what to call the season for Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, I don't want to tuck the series in right now, but they started terrible. They at one point lost 12 in a row.
Awful.
And then they didn't
play defense for 4 months.
Battled back and then closed the year, made the play-in, and then they got in and then they bump into a legitimate Miami team. I'm having a hard time, Nick, determining like what's a good season now. I think I'm starting to get like our fathers. And I'm just like, the older I get, I'm like, yeah, it's a good team, but like
they're not going to do anything.
They're not doing shit.
Like that one that they had last year, that's not happening this year. They're not going to do shit.
Like, let's have a little fun and watch them play Miami, but what's going on here next time?
Yeah.
Even like and we'll get to the Bulls, but like even like for the Bulls, I was like going into the series, I'm like, I'm excited, I guess, a little bit. But like we're not gonna win. And I'll watch just because I like hoops. But like I used to be the kid with all the hope. Like, no, we could rip rip off 2 and then you never know type shit. It's just like as you get older, I'm like, Yeah, we ain't got no
Yeah,
chance. Playing these boys.
your eyes don't lie, man. We'll talk about the
Yeah.
Bulls when we get to that series, but your eyes don't lie, man. Like, you know what you've been watching. And with Atlanta, when we saw that Bulls versus Atlanta game, we were live and in person and watched how they defend. And you know what I'm saying? It's not. It's a. They don't try, and it is kind of disappointing when you think about the year that they had, because you would think that they would come out like just like busting out the gates, you know, to start the year, and it was the exact opposite. Like they played lifeless and all that, and they backed in. I mean, they were 10th, right, or 9th?
Who?
Atlanta.
Atlanta was.
I think they were in 10th.
I think they were
because they had to beat Cleveland. Yeah. Yeah,
so
they had to play the double. They had to play the double play-in, right? Didn't Atlanta have to play the double
that means
play-in?
they were 8. That means they were the 8 then, because if they only won one game, because they were the 8. I'm pretty sure. I'll tell you right now. Hold on. Yeah, they were the 8. Brooklyn 7, Atlanta 8.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, so as far as that series is concerned, man, yeah, I got Miami in 5. It's one of those series, kind of like what you just said. If I miss that game, I'm not worried about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're always putting them in that early spot anyways, where you're still doing shit. So I think the NBA feels the same way.
Any thoughts on Trae Young? How do I say this without sounding like an asshole? I don't know if I like his game, and I don't know if he should get as much love as he does. He does a lot of reckless stuff. I wish I pulled up. I didn't pull up the deep analytics on it, but you know what? I'll come back to that, and we could have a real conversation about Trae Young later. Maybe we could do it next week. But I'm starting to feel like there's a bigger conversation needs to be had other than like he's a villain and he's fun and shoots 30-footers and he's great for the NBA. Like, it's a lot of reckless, wild hoops going on. We'll talk about it. When
it works, it's great. But over the course of an 82-game season, right, it's hard to deal with. Eder's been on this forever.
Yeah, I think. Well, it's just inefficient, fun, 30% shooting. No one's involved. A lot of dimes. He gets pull up like all. Yeah, it's we'll actually have we should actually bring Eder on for that. We could talk about that, but I think is it fun to watch sometimes? Sure, when it's working, yeah, but you know what it reminds me of a little bit? Early Dame, when like everyone really wanted to love him, but like he was still like shooting at a very low clip percentage wise. It was just like a lot of chucking, a lot of nonsense, and then Dame cleaned it up, and then now Dame is Dame. But that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like everyone wants to love him because of a lot of different factors, but it's still a lot of inefficient, not involving your teammates, not something you want from your point guard type of play.
Well, but then you look at the playoffs last year and he could carry you through 3 series. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like the give and the take, and you got to, I think.
Yeah, man, but if you go look at some of those games, there's like so many games where he's 5 of 26.
Yeah, sure.
7 of like, you know what I mean? And like he carried you, I guess. There's also a lot of different factors that went into
that run.
You know, that run and them winning those games. And then there's other games where he's like, 7 threes and he took 15 attempts. And okay, we can live with that all day long. But yeah, we'll talk about that another time. But Miami's real. They've been real. 53-29 to close the year. They come out and get 2 in a row, easy at home. Now have to go to Atlanta, where the Hawks are really good. So stay tuned there.
Yep.
All right, you want to stay in the East?
Yep, Boston, Brooklyn.
Oh, boy.
Boy, what a game.
Oh, what a series.
What a series.
What a series.
Sign me up, take my money.
Yeah.
Game 1 was everything that you could have hoped for as far as.
Hey, quick disclaimer. I got a few tickets. I got a few Boston for series tickets in my pocket. So
did you get it before? Did you get it? It opened up with Brooklyn as favorites.
I got even money. I got even money on Boston, and then it went to -130 at one point. But go ahead.
Game 1, obviously you got the high drama with Kyrie, which first off I loved it. Thought it was amazing. Thought it was great. Don't think that anything was overboard. I don't care that he flipped off the fans. You could imagine what those fans are saying. Look, Boston is not known for being kind to athletes, especially black ones. So I got no problem with him giving them the finger. And obviously he played a hell of a game too. It's not like they if anything, the crowd was fueling him.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. So you don't have any issue?
No.
No.
Zero.
He
I agree with everything you said.
He could grab his nuts. He could
I'll
grab
say-
his nuts. Everything.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll say this.
that's what I'm asking you.
I agree with what he said after the game. With like, at some point, it's like the shit that's being said to me in the arena is overboard. So I'm gonna flip him off and I'm gonna do all that. I got no problem with that. I don't want him to run up in the stands and smack somebody. You know what I mean? But I don't have a problem with that. And don't let the NBA fool you either. They don't have a problem with it either. They love it. They love it. The NBA sells the drama. The NBA has always sold the drama. They love it. So I got no problem with it, man. I'm not like, yeah, that's fine. Because I know he's getting it really bad from those fans.
You know me. I'm a little split on this. I don't really care about, I guess, the gestures.
Did he grab his nuts? I don't remember him grabbing his nuts.
No. He did, but I'm saying, where does it stop, right? Why not? Is that different? That's different. That's going too far?
Grabbing your nuts is probably a little too far.
What about like the chokes? What about like the...
No problem with that.
Because I think that's where it gets a little sticky, right? Like I don't care about any of that stuff. Like I'm with people cursing. I'm with people screaming in the stands. I'm just trying to play a little devil's advocate and see it from like an NBA standpoint. Like I don't know if you could have him running around doing that.
Oh, it doesn't look
You can't have him. You can't have him laying balls up and going.
This one was the best one when
he put it behind his head. Like I don't know if you could have him doing that. And I don't like they gave him the. How do you think that conversation went with the 50K? You think it was even a conversation? You think they just sent the memo over, or did Silver pick up the phone?
What I thought was going to happen. I was surprised that Kyrie didn't protest it and be like, "Well, you need to start finding fans, my brother," and stuff like that. I think he knew. He probably was pre-fined. He knew the deal. He's like, "I'm gonna just lose 50 tonight. I don't care. But I'm gonna lose 50. I'll use one of the game checks I got for not playing during home games and see fine, fuck it, take it. I didn't earn this anyways." So I don't think he's worried about it, man. And I think it was probably a quick conversation. It was probably the envelope. He got it, No,
but I'm saying that Evan Silver hit him with like, "Hey, look, like this next fine gonna be $250,000, and you're gonna get a game."
I don't think so, because I think you would hear that the league was very pissed off about it. You haven't heard any rumblings like that at all.
Well, maybe it might be some behind the scenes type shit, right?
There's nothing's behind the scenes, man.
Because,
you got Woj, you got Shams.
Well, because I'm gonna tell you this, man. If Kyrie only has to eat 50 every time he goes to Boston, he might just eat 150K. 150K.
It's gonna be a $350,000 series for him.
Like, cool, I mean, if that's all he's worried about, because I'm gonna tell you, he looked at that 50, was like, all right, like he despises them, man.
They despise him, though.
Let me ask you this, Nick.
They despise him, though. That's what.
Let me ask you this, Nick.
And I'm not pro Kyrie in anything really, except for basketball. So for me to be like, yo, I don't think Kyrie's wrong in this when I literally think 97% of what he does is stupid or just self-serving. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with this.
Yeah, I really don't care. I mean, it's fun. I'm all about talking shit because I go to games and I talk big shit. Right. So I have no problem with people talking trash, talking and heckling, and if the players get. To be honest, I'm the guy at the game looking for what Kyrie to do to happen to me because I'm just on Kyrie even 10x more now. Right. Now I know he's hearing me. He's acknowledged me. Fingers or not, I'm on Kyrie's ass the whole rest of the game.
You throwing mass at him? Like,
yes, I mean, I'm all over Kyrie, right? Like that. There's no question about that. But let me ask you this: should Kyrie hate them like that?
If they hate him, they hate him. I think this is fan driven, and Kyrie's responding. I think you're acting like Kyrie's the aggressor. He's not. He's responding to what's happening to him. I think if they weren't in there yelling at him, Kyrie wouldn't show up to the Garden flicking people off. He just go.
But what about him? What about him stepping on the emblem at midcourt? Like,
yeah, but he's already that was after he had already gotten all the smoke.
But didn't he deserve some of the smoke for how he acted in Boston?
Sure. This is how it works. That's what I'm saying. What's wrong here? They deserve to give him some smoke, and he deserves to give it right back. I got no problem with what they're doing as long as they're not, I don't like, you know what I'm on, man. I don't like, and we'll talk about this when we get this woad shit. I don't like going at families. You know what I mean? Don't call me the N-word or boy or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Don't talk about my kids, my wife, my mom, any of that shit that's like, same rules that you got when you're out in the field like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's certain lines you don't cross, right? So, like, that's fine. But he deserves to give it right back to him, especially in an emotional playoff series. So I think the fans are the ones that are Kyrie did the initial action of pissing them off, right?
Yeah.
Through how he is. But all this responding shit, that's all he's doing, and I got no problem with it, man. We're supposed to sit there and take it.
Now let me ask you this. Let me give you because I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I think this is fun. Now, what if it wasn't just Kyrie doing this and there was 4 or 5 people on the floor doing this? Every time somebody yells something at him, it's just people all over the floor flicking people off and all types of stuff. Then what do we do?
Yeah, but this just doesn't happen that way. I think it's a special situation. You're talking about a special fan base in Boston, right?
Yeah.
This isn't the fucking Minnesota Timberwolves. This isn't the Kings. You know what I mean? There's a passionate fan base that's been known to give it to a player or two. You're talking about the ultimate what's the word? Is it protagonist? Whoever the person is that is about that, which is Kyrie, loves it, feeds off it, wants it, embraces it. You know what I mean? And you put that and you're added to a playoff series, which is going to be tightly contested, a matchup you really should never get in 7-2, right? But because of circumstances, you have Brooklyn in the 7 spot. So it all adds to it, man. You pour all the ingredients in there, and you got the makings of exactly what we want, man. Like this is electric. Everybody's watching tonight. You know what I mean? Like this shit is electric. No question.
No question.
Right? Like so this is one of the best first round series you're gonna see. And you add that element to it, and I'm all about it. So yeah, I'm fine with it, man. Like I have no problem with it.
All right, let me ask you this. Let's talk about the series.
Yeah.
What are our thoughts? Boston almost basically collapsed.
Yeah.
It was we were on the phone. We talked about it. It was similar to what we had seen from them when they weren't playing their best basketball. They went away from running their offensive sets. They looked panicked. They looked rushed on offense. There's no way, in any way, shape, or form, a team with that roster should be going scoreless for 5 minutes,
right?
5.5 minutes. So we saw a little bit of that, and they got bailed out by Marcus Smart, an insanely smart play on the pump to close the game and go to 10.
I really thought he was going to let that shit fly. Everything about Marcus Smart's career is like, yo, he's shooting this. Like, you know what I mean?
But to be honest, it looked like he had to get it up. It's like 3. Yeah, he caught it with 3.2, 3.3. This is the thing, bro. If Tatum, this is why it's so perfect. If Tatum doesn't cut to the basket and he pumps, he probably has to take a long 2 to try to win it, right?
What a cut by Tatum.
Yeah.
And it's smart by Tatum because no one's at that point, everybody's thinking Marcus Smart's going to shoot it. So no one's looking at Tatum, and Tatum just slips to the basket.
Yeah, it's funny because I bet you when Tatum goes to the hoop, he's thinking he's trying to rebound. Yeah. Initially. And then he's like, oh shit, I could get a look here. And then he got the pass from Marcus. Tatum scores 31. Our DPOY, Marcus Smart. People are bent up about that. I don't really. Whatever. Look, Tatum scores 31. Horford scores 20. He was dunking everything. Nick sends me a text message. He goes, hey, Horford dunking everything. If Horford's catching oops, the Nets in trouble.
Catching oops, flying through the paint. Nets had no answer for Al Horford, man. That's a problem. I know that's your boy.
Yeah, man.
But Al Horford just playing heady basketball out there. And so I mean, if you talk about that game, like Kyrie was obviously on fire. I don't think you'll see a game like that from Durant again. So if you're the Nets, you got to feel good. Okay, KD is going to be better than 9 for 24. We've never seen.
Let me ask you this: like, how do you feel good as a Nets? You're like, as a Nets fan and thinking about the overall series, like KD was 9 for 24, and we literally lost at the buzzer. We know Kyrie played 42 minutes, scored 39, but I feel pretty good about a team that was favored in the series. We were in Boston, and we lost at the buzzer.
Yeah, I mean, I think you feel good about those two guys regardless. If you're Brooklyn, though, you're worried about the same thing you're always worried about: three and beyond. Everybody else, right? Like, are you going to get that kind of game from Dragic again? You can't bet on that. You know what I mean? You got Bruce Brown played 37 minutes, only 5 points. I know he's out there for other reasons, and he's kind of doing that dirt work, but they need someone else to score points. Like, scoring 114 isn't going to get it done because Boston just has too much firepower. So I feel like if you're the Nets, you 100% need KD to get back on track. You need Kyrie to continue to play like that, and you really need to find a third person to get you another 20 points. And at that point, you're at 80, 90 points, and you can kind of figure out the rest. But 114 is not going to get it done. That I can tell you. But at the pace of this series is being played at, Boston's defense, if they can hold them to 114 again, I think this is it's not an easy series for Boston, but it's Boston. It plays right into Boston's hand. The Nets have to score 130 type shit.
The thing that worries me about the Nets is that they haven't played well at home all year.
Yeah,
so it's not like they're itching to get home,
right?
And then they could go crazy.
The worst thing would be for them to lose tonight and go down 0-2 and go home with no home court advantage, really.
So
it's a celebrity crowd. I mean, it's not you've been in Knicks games, you know the deal.
I've been in Knicks games versus Nets games, and it's a stark difference.
Exactly. The Nets game is more like, oh, let's go to the Nets game. Let's go to Barclays. This is great. You know what I mean? But there's no real history with the team. Whereas with the Knicks, even though the tickets are crazy expensive and all that, you still have those passionate fans that are in the building rooting. You know what I mean? You saw that in the Trae series last year. So, yeah, they don't have that distinct home court advantage. But I still have Boston in this series.
Yeah.
And I think it's Boston in 6.
3.5 is the line tonight. Boston is the favorite. Playing the Nets at home, game 2. It should be just as active in there tonight. I would say this. I'm looking at something like the Nets first half. I think they come out. KD comes out very active. And then who knows what happens on the back end. But I would not be shocked if the Nets went into the half up 4 or 5 points. I thought yeah, I think they're gonna come out. I think Kevin Durant is really not here for the talking, and he doesn't like it. Like every time I hear Durant in post games and people talking to him about anything, it's like, man, let's just play ball, bro. I don't care who he's flicking off, what they're saying, none of that.
Why is Bruce Brown talking about Daniel Tice?
Right, like exactly. Like, well, I don't need to hear about any of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got Boston in the series plus 100 to start. I think I'm excited to see how this game plays out. This has 6-7 written all over it, obviously, but I think today is pivotal because I don't know. Boston has been playing so well to close it down. I don't know. It's going to be. They don't want to go down 0-2 and then go back home, and then Boston can continue to roll. So, stay tuned on that. All right, let's stay. Go ahead.
Bulls Bucks, real quick.
Yeah, Bulls Bucks.
Valiant effort. Hey, Vooch, give it to Vooch, man. Vooch played his ass off on Sunday. Kobe White played his ass off on Sunday. LaVine and DeRozan got to play better, man. And in a game where DeMar DeRozan is struggling, dog, LaVine need to step up.
Yeah.
Period, point blank. You're going for max money this summer. You got to step up in that spot because that was a winnable game for the Bulls. Milwaukee will never play a game that bad again.
Never.
You will never hold the Milwaukee Bucks to 93 points ever again.
Like maybe in the history of the matchup.
Yeah. So like that yeah, for real. Like it's not happening. Right? Yeah. So like that to me was a huge letdown by the Bulls. And I look at LaVine in that one, man. You can't have 18 out here, dog. Like you can't have 18 in that game, man. You can't have 18. I know I got on Pat Williams a lot. It's the same story with Pat Williams. He's just not aggressive. And I don't care if you're injured, bro. I don't care what's been going on. Like you're the number 4 pick in the draft. Team picked you for a reason. We really needed your contributions the other day. And you're not aggressive. How many shots? 3 shots in 25 minutes. Like, come on, man. Like, be aggressive, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why we talk about, like, people look talking all that dog stuff and all that shit's overrated. Like, that's just not overrated, bro. Like, it's either in you or it's not.
I agree.
Period, point blank. You know what I mean? There's certain dudes who aren't going to play 26 minutes and only have 3 shots, no matter what's happening around them. So I really need to see something from him, man. But it's really, I put it at Zach a lot, man. DeMar was trying. Shot that bitch 27 times. You know what I'm saying? He was letting it go. Or 25
yeah, 6
times.
of 25.
But you can't have LaVine out there looking like it just wasn't there, man. Like that, I was really disappointed in Zach.
It was a weird game overall because no one was shooting it very well.
Yeah.
I don't care what's going on. I do not need Vucevic taking 27 shots ever in the history of my life. Never.
Yeah.
He was active. That's the most active I've seen him.
Yeah.
Maybe all season.
I mean, we needed him.
Yeah, I mean, well, no one else wanted to do anything.
No one else wanted to play. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about Pat Williams for a second. Let's just keep it 100. I get he's young. I understand that. But like you said, man, 23 minutes, 3 boards. And if I remember correctly, a couple of those boards are like, you take it, I take it. I'll take this one.
Yeah.
These are not like boxed out big time boards, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not really locking up like that. They're kind of empty minutes.
Yeah.
And to start the year, we had this conversation about Pat earlier in the year. He wasn't doing anything to start the year. He was out there just floating around, wasn't aggressive on D, wasn't crashing the boards, wasn't shooting. He was just kind of lost. It felt like he didn't know where he fit in the squad, and then he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about how, like, maybe that's a blessing to where he could, step back, look, talk to the coaches, and then figure out, like, his role with the team.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it's back to right where we were to start the year. He just kind of doesn't know what his role is. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think Billy Donovan has been skating by the last 2 months. It should be very clear what his role, like Billy Donovan should be telling this man what his role is.
Yeah.
It should be very clear. Now, maybe Pat is being told and is just doesn't have that aggressive trait in him and he's not doing it maybe. But his role should be a lot more defined than what it is. Like Javonte Green, Alex Caruso, those dudes' roles are clear cut.
They know exactly what they're coming in for.
Pat looks like he's just running around playing pickup almost.
Yeah.
So I don't want to kill the kid because, and I shouldn't call him a kid. I don't want to kill him because he's young. It's his second year.
We've seen some talent.
We've seen a little bit of flashing talent, but it's more like the guy is a monster physically.
Yeah, for sure.
His frame, like he should be making more of an impact.
It's crazy athletic. Like, yeah, it's all there.
What did you text me when I asked you he should have more boards? Like, I don't care when anybody says Pat Williams needs to have more boards.
Rebounding's about heart. That's it.
It's about wanting to go get them.
Yeah, you can watch the Rodman shit about bouncing off the angles, and the truly elite rebounders know when the ball hits a certain way, it's going to go to a certain place. But a lot of it is just heart, man. Like that to me is always my test for big men. Like, yo, I'm talking about 3 boards a quarter, 2 to 3 boards a quarter for a big. A guy like Pat, 1 to 2 boards a quarter, man. You should be coming out getting 6, 7 rebounds in your shift. Easy. You know what I mean? It's a hustle stat to me. Rebound is a hustle stat. It's a want stat. It's a heart stat. You know what I mean? It's wanting it more than that other guy. It's putting yourself in position to get the rebound. Like, you got to go out there and really try to rebound. You know what I mean? And, like, if you're out there just kind of being lackadaisical like he is, they're not just going to fall to you. And he seems like a guy, and you see this with a lot of guys, he seems like one of those guys that's just always been athletically so much better than everybody else that he never really had to kind of, like, go hard and grind like that. You know what I mean? It's just like, yo, for most of his life, you put Pat Williams on the court, and he's just better than everybody else because you just said it. He's physically imposing. He's a great athlete, good frame. You know what I mean? So I think that type of stuff matters, man. Like, you want those guys who at some point have been the best player on their team and taken that responsibility and know what it looks like to kind of put in that that type of work. And I don't know if he has that. And again, man, it's early, right? This is year 2. He's missed a lot of the season. He just came back. You're throwing him into playoff basketball. Only had a few games at the end of the regular season to kind of catch up. But at the same time, man, you're the 4th pick in the draft. It's put up or shut up town. There's young guys around the league playing that way.
Now, let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. Is this a Bulls thing, developing talent and getting guys in the building? Like, would he look like this in Miami? Something tells me he wouldn't.
Probably not. Would he look like this in fucking New Orleans right now, where they're grabbing guys out of nowhere and having them play? Like, yeah, I don't. It may be.
It's like because
now you're looking at Laurie, another guy, a lot of talent, didn't really know what he was doing out there, and a lot of that's on Boylen, but it's kind of the same thing. It's like Wendell Carter, a lot of talent, had no fucking idea what he was doing out there. So it's like, yeah, are all these guys shit, or are we not developing them in the building in the right way?
We were tweeting. I was tweeting last night about Max Strus. Had a guy in the building. We just let him walk out the door. He's an absolute impact player for the Miami Heat.
Yep.
Then you have Dinwiddie. He was in the building. We let him walk out the door. Cam Payne was shit for us. He was terrible. Some of the worst point guard play we've ever seen.
Even in Summer League, he was
from Cam Payne in Chicago. He leaves, goes back to the D League, starts cooking people in the D League, then gets a 2-year deal from Phoenix, and has made some impact plays for them the last 2 years. He's been a lot better than he was for us.
He got a bubble deal from Phoenix. That's what it was, remember? He got signed in the bubble because they needed to bring somebody there. And yeah, I can't blame them for Cam Payne, but yeah.
Well, what do you mean?
Going from, though. Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of guys that we had in the building seem to leave, and then all of a sudden they're a lot better players than they were when they were here. And that you can't do anything but look internally.
For sure.
Who else? Like, the list is pretty long.
Well, and then you look at a team like Miami, and it's like Alvarado and Duncan Robinson and these guys that are just like, where do you find them? Sky Alvarado's all over the place.
Yeah, Alvarado for the Pelicans. Yeah,
I'm sorry, Alvarado's the Pelicans, but yeah, you look at some of these dudes there. It's Pelicans, Miami. San Antonio's been doing it for years.
You're talking about Gabe.
Gabe.
What I'm tweaking on his last name.
Gabe something or another, man. Yeah.
You're talking about Gabe Vincent.
Gabe Vincent. Yeah.
Dog, like what?
Yeah.
What?
Who are some of these guys? Dwayne Dedman, like random ass cats that they have out there making plays. Same thing. You look at Memphis, Desmond Bane, some of these random Dylan Brooks. You know what I mean? Desmond Bane looks like a fucking all-star out there. And you don't really have those guys come through the Bulls like that.
But that's what I'm getting
we talked about for years. Organizations matter, right? Like San Antonio's been doing this for years. Miami's been doing this for years. They develop guys. They're huge on player development. They understand that the best way to build your team is not necessarily to go out and try to sign as many high-priced free agents you can or to tank. It's to develop guys internally. If you pick at 18, okay, so be it. We're going to take that guy that we took at 18th. We're going to, like you said, find a clearly defined role for them. Miami does the best job of this. You have a role. Miami's roles are so defined that Udonis Haslem has been on that team for 10 years and hasn't played an NBA minute in 10 seasons, but he has a role. Right. So when you go into that organization, you see UD over there getting $5 million to not play. You understand how serious they take this thing. Right. Like, look, we even pay the guy who doesn't play because organizationally he has value to us. So, yeah, that shit matters. And, yeah, the Bulls have been terrible at it. For sure. It's an organizational issue. It doesn't matter who the coach is or any of that stuff. That shit is ingrained in your building and how everybody acts. I guarantee you go to Miami Heat, down to the fucking ticket office, everybody knows how shit's supposed to go. You know what I mean? It's like any other business, man.
It is. It is like any other business.
We should get our guy on here. What's his name, man? He's a year younger. I think he's a year grade.
You talking about Jared?
Jared, yeah.
Yeah. That actually would be interesting. Kind of see like in the ticket office. Yeah, we got a boy. Shout out Jared, boy. Like he actually listens. Shout out Jared.
Yeah, shout out Jared.
He works in VIP ticket sales and courtside seats and suites and all that. Yeah, it's probably the same culture for him too.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like what? Yeah, I know what I'm supposed to do every day. I don't want to hear from Pat.
Facts.
So yeah, I think that shit does matter, man. That's a good point. The Bulls don't do a great job of it.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because, like we said, Pat has all the stuff, but he just seems like we're not developing like a lot of these guys like we should. And it's a new regime, so we'll see how it nets and where Pat closes out. But it's just something to keep an eye on when you're looking at the Bulls and some of these guys that go to different places and play a lot better than they were with us. Why is that? Why is that the case? So, all right, let's close out the East. Hey, man.
Everybody was on Toronto.
Philly, Toronto. A lot of people were on Toronto.
Right here.
And we talked about it quite a bit. And when I broke it down, because I had 2 units on Philly in game 1 -4.5. And I just sat down and was looking at all the stuff. And I'm like, this Toronto narrative is getting a little too out of hand right now. Like we're running a little too far with this. Game 1 is in Philly at home. They've been hearing all this. They have one of the best players in the NBA, top 2 MVP candidate in Joel Embiid, who is unstoppable on the block, period, point blank. If you get him the ball in any type of transition, any type of anything, he's unstoppable.
Looking to kill you.
What? This Toronto, it's just this. It's getting out of hand. So I took Philly -4.5, laid the 110. And they bust their ass. They beat them by 20.
Yep.
Now we come out in game 2, and they tucked them in again.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid's talking to Nick Nurse. He's telling him, "Hey man, you better stop putting me on the line because y'all gonna die a slow death. You keep putting me on the line."
You can't. He's an 85% free throw shooter, so you can't hack a Joel.
He's telling him like, "Hey man, y'all better stop following me. It's going to be a slow death." And it has been so far. What's going on with Toronto? Or is it just Philly has more talent and Thibault hasn't even played too much?
Yeah.
He's been playing like 10, 12 minutes a game.
And he's not playing the next game either.
Yeah, and he's not playing in Toronto. So I don't know if that was by design from Doc to kind of see what the squad looks like without him because they won't be able to use him. But
I bet you they are.
What's going on with Toronto? What happened?
In Philly, tough game. Like you said, everything you just said happened, man. Joel's obviously the best player in the series, far and above, right? Philly does have a ton of talent. Maxey is a fucking revelation. You know, I think Maxey's one of those guys where you're kind of waiting for him to come back down to earth, but maybe he won't. Like maybe this is just who he is. You know what I mean? Like at some point,
Jordan Poole
shows. Yeah, it's Jordan. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm off like it's Jordan Poole coming back down to earth. This is who Jordan Poole is at this point. Yeah. He's really fucking good. Same thing with Maxey, man. And that was the guy that they were looking for, right? I know Harden is quote unquote your number 2, but he's obviously hit or miss at this point. But if you're getting 25, 30 from Maxey, it doesn't really matter. Toronto plays hard. Obviously, Nurse is a really good coach. But again, we talk about being overmatched. They might be overmatched in this series. Now, I do think Toronto steals game 3 at home because I just think that environment is, we've seen it for years now. It's just a tough place to play. That crowd gets after you. I'm really big on these game 3s for the teams that are down 0-2. If your home court is in a hostile environment. Yeah. Like Atlanta, Toronto. Like I really do think these are the type of teams that win those game 3s would end up losing the series. But yeah, to go down 0-2, I don't think that they can win 4 of the next 5 against Philly with Philly's playing like this. Because like you said, Joel's not going to have bad games. It's just not going to happen. And I don't think they have anybody to defend Joel Embiid. So as long as Doc's game plan continues to work that in, I think it's brilliant that Doc is playing Thibault 10, 15 minutes because, yeah, you don't want Thibault to be the reason that you're winning the first 2 games and then you can't play game 3 or 4. So I think it's an excellent strategy. If you're Matisse, you got to understand it, you know? I don't know how that conversation goes, but Doc's a veteran. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty quick. Hey, man, you already know the deal. You can't play. You don't want to take the shot. It's all good. Hey, whatever.
Yeah,
see you next series.
Yeah,
rest
exactly.
Rest up. So yeah, I think. Look, man, I love the Toronto Raptors, but I was probably sipping the juice
Kool-Aid
a little bit too hard.
Kool-Aid was a little sugary.
A little Kool-Aid was very sweet. So yeah, I think it's Philly in 5.
Yeah, it looks that way. I'll say this though, man. On offense, I would just attack Niang anytime he was on the floor. Whoever has the ball, whoever he's faced up against, give them the rock and let them try to go to work. I would try to put him. I would put James in pick and roll. Fred has to shoot it better. Fred hasn't shot it that well. And it looked like Fred in game 2 was in the spot where he knew he had to score a bunch because Scotty was out and he had no help there. And he just wasn't hitting. He was pressing. He's just shooting everything and it wasn't falling. So
I will say this, though. Win or lose, OG Anunoby is a revelation. This guy's another organization, same thing. Toronto Masai had been doing this for years. Finding all these guys, all these Nigerian dudes, Achua, Anunoby, Siakam, like he finds all these African cats and brings them over here, and they all hoop. So we talk about organizational development. So great year by them, but yeah, I think they're overmatched in this one. But I did have to shout out Anunoby because he's been playing his ass off.
Yeah,
he's nice,
100%. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, VanVleet was 5 of 16 from 3. That's just the recipe for just pressing.
Yeah.
But Siakam, I don't know, man. It's tough. It seems like Philly matches up a little bit better than we anticipated. I thought it would be a lot more competitive as well, but Philly's taking care of business at home and has done it. You want to talk about James Harden?
Let me tell you this, though, right?
Okay.
And then the game 1, you get 24 from Siakam, 18 from VanVleet, 20 from Anunoby, and 15, 10, and 8 from Scotty Barnes. So it's kind of like, and they still lose by 20. So that's what I talk about when you're overmatched. And then Barnes is hurt now, right? So
yeah, Scotty's out. Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's obviously huge for them because he's very important to what they do. If you watch how they play like all 5 positions. So I just good run by them, but it kind of is what it is.
Yeah, it looks like we were bamboozled. I think that series price got down to like 170 or something on Philly. It's looking very free at the moment.
Yeah, that was probably free cash.
Yeah.
A lot of Toronto, unnecessary Toronto love.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about James real quick before we move off of this and get to the West. Well, you got any initial thoughts? Because I called you. I'll start, bro. Hold on. Yeah. I'll start, man. Because I'll keep it 100. James isn't washed. I wouldn't go as far to say that.
But he's headed to the laundromat. he's starting up the car.
Like
he's got his little blue bag.
Yo, he looks a full 2 steps slower than he used to.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even getting close to getting by people.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't think it would affect the rest of his game as it has. He's getting no room to shoot jump shots.
Yeah.
He can't hit contested jump shots. People are in his grill. He can't get by anybody. Then he's getting by people and he's trying to flail to get foul calls that are not coming.
And the league's been showing you all year they're not called.
Yeah.
They had to learn it. It affected Dame earlier in the year. It's affected James all year. The league has been very consistent on we're not letting you guys just create these little tricks to get to the line 15 times a game.
Yeah, exactly. And he's still one of the best passers in the league. No question. The advanced stats of I want to say on shots, on passes from James Harden, the rest of the Sixers are shooting 56%. So he's getting guys unbelievable looks. They're knocking him down. He's still very valuable, but this is not the guy you.
Is that number inflated playing with a guy like Embiid though, who's going to finish at such a high clip
it was
at
like
the rim?
It was like, but before he got there, like for example, the stat I had about Tobias Harris was. He was taking like 30.
The stat that says they're paying him $35 million a year this year.
He had 38% of his shots were on no dribbles before Harden showed up, and then when Harden showed up, he had it went from 38% to no dribbles to like something like 56% no dribbles, where he's just catching, shooting, getting good looks. So he's still getting guys good looks. He's still creating and dishing the ball, what he does really, really well on top of. He's always done that really well on top of scoring the rock. But I don't know if this is the guy you thought you were getting, man.
Yeah, you brought him here to score 30 points in playoff games, right? Like that dishing the rock and all that shit is nice, but as you get up into these tougher matchups, you can't. I mean, I know I just talked greatly about Maxey, but if Maxey's your number 2 scorer going into a series against Brooklyn, Boston, Miami, whoever it may be, Giannis and them boys, it's not going to be nice.
Yeah. So,
but this may be who he is. But here's the thing, man. It's not like it's a slump. He has looked this way all year long. Right, going back to that injury last year in the playoffs, right? He hurt his hamstring. Seems like this summer, I don't know what he did. I know what he did. He was with Lil Baby in there. But, he lets you know what he did. Yeah. But it just seems like he came in the year, right, out of shape, injured, and new rules, and never figured out a way to navigate around that. You talk about his shooting. As great as he was in Houston, it's never like James was like a 43% three-point shooter, right? A lot of it was created by that step back and the different things that he was able to do. But it's not like when you change that up, he's like some marksman who's going to come down and just let it fly and jay in your eye, right? Like a lot of it was because he was elite at creating separation, right? He was elite at some of the things that he could do with the ball. He was so brilliant with the basketball and deception and slowing down and all these different decelerations. That it would create that separation. He was able to get that shot off, and it became an uncontested jumper.
Yeah, exactly. But even that step back's not there.
It's not there.
I'm not seeing nothing.
No, there's no, and again, it's not like he was a peak athlete to begin with. It was never like James was booming on folks. So I think he's a guy like his game was always going to age poorly. Well, you know what? Actually, you know what? Was it though? Because he never relied on athleticism. So he's actually a guy that you would think his game shouldn't age that bad because that old school shit.
Still quickness there though.
Yeah, it was quickness for sure.
Taking off first stepping people and was out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. But you mix that with the injuries, you mix that with the rule changes, and you mix that with the fact that look, you don't take care of yourself. Like we're not blowing smoke. Like you don't take care of yourself. All that matters.
Should he,
in a league full of guys who are obsessed with taking care of themselves at this point in the game?
Yeah. Should he incorporate more of a mid-range game? Is it time to be like, hey, I can't get to the rack like I used to?
Yeah.
So maybe I should tailor my game and change it up. And maybe that's not something that's going to happen.
Type game?
Well, maybe that's not something that's going to happen in the middle of the year and then the playoffs start. But like going into next year, maybe that's something that he incorporates where it's like instead of trying to get to the basket, I'm stopping, pulling up mid-range style and adding it that way. Because getting to the basket is not happening.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. He can't get by anybody.
Right. Well, he should incorporate that and like, no joke, you should incorporate some fitness. Like I mean, you got guys like Giannis. I saw Giannis in person. I'm just like, yo,
this guy's fucking animal.
Breathes in the gym. It's just where he is. He goes to the game probably to work out. Bron goes without saying. All these guys, man, like there's only a few guys you look at and it's just like, yo, he's like Luka and fucking James. Those are guys that are crazy out of shape. But Jokic, Jokic is just no definition, but it's okay. But yeah, with James, it clearly affects his game. Like, I really think he's got to, like, yeah, he needs to take care of his body a little bit more. Like you said, make some adjustments, maybe start going that mid-range. Understand you're not getting those calls that you were getting in Houston. And just the thing with James is a brilliant basketball player, man. So you hope he'll figure it out. You just hope he cares enough to figure it out. I'm not questioning his passion or commitment to the game.
I think he's trying to get another deal, ain't he?
Yeah.
He's trying to get another deal here.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. It's like, it'd be $50 million a year. So it's also like, man, you're putting on this type of bag right now.
That's like he's still trying to get another deal. So
yeah,
that's where it gets a little interesting. But all right, we'll leave that there. Let's go to the West Side, best side, as they say.
1-8. Suns Pelicans.
1-8. Suns Pelicans. Man, Pelicans got a W last night.
Brandon Ingram's a player.
Bi.
Yeah, he's a player.
Go ahead.
I like Brandon Ingram. No, I thought he was hooping last night. Obviously, losing Booker was what changed the entire everything for Phoenix. But New Orleans came out. They're playing hard. They got a good little team there. Brandon Ingram. It really makes the Zion thing seem even more crazy because
it's like, nice if they had Zion playing.
Yeah, why would you not want to play with this team? Like, this team is solid, and you add in a Zion Williamson in there, and it's like, yo, this team becomes really good. So I mean, again, man, they're playing hard, but Phoenix is a much better squad. If Booker's okay, then this is quick and easy. The thing that I worry about if I'm Phoenix is hamstrings linger, right? Like that's what he heard was his hammy, right?
Yeah,
hamstrings. You can't really fix it. and it pops up whenever it wants to. And you can have a day where you wake up and your shit is on fire and you got a game that night. So it's going to be something that they're going to have to manage for the rest of the playoffs. Luckily, Phoenix is deep enough to do that. So if they,
he immediately called. He was like,
yeah,
immediately was like, yo,
yep, something's not
come
right.
get me. I'm in trouble here.
Yeah.
To be honest, bro, I'm still trying to figure out what happened to Phoenix last night. New Orleans was in the game the entire time.
Yeah.
I know what happened at the end. The Pelicans absolutely shot lights out.
Lights out.
They were
it was buckets
insane.
left and right. It was insane.
They were hitting everything in the second half. They scored 35 in the fourth and 30 and 34 in the third on one of the best defensive teams in the league. Yep. They scored 69 points in the second half.
Brandon Ingram shot 62% with 37 points.
Yeah, so I know it might just be one of those games where they shot lights out. They were 17 of 30 from three.
They were 46 of 84 on the game. Yeah.
Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, they
Yeah.
shot ridiculous. And it seemed like a lot of those jumpers were in the second half and like the last 7-8 minutes of the game. Every time the Suns would come down and get a jumper, they would come right back down and BI. And BI was hitting pull-up threes.
Yeah, he was hooping.
Like, he was going crazy.
Trey Murphy hit 3 threes. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah.
They just had a bunch of guys. Your boy Larry Nance is putting in work.
Larry Nance was 6 of 9. Probably four of those were jumpers, like long twos.
Yeah.
All net. He was going crazy. So it might be an outlier where, you know, they were knocking down a lot of shots.
And there was no Booker in the second half.
And then it's kind of like we just can't get a grip on the game, and it ends up being an L. You saw Floyd?
No, Floyd was over there.
Floyd was at the game last night.
Floyd was in Phoenix.
Floyd was in Phoenix chilling out. It looked like he had money on the Pelicans. He was happy.
He's all good.
Took the 10 points. So, but yeah, hey, man, I'm not changing anything I thought or think about Phoenix. I think they'll take care of business. They win this in 5-6 if it has to go that. But, hey, man, Devin Booker is a big question mark. There's no question about that. He was absolutely lights out in the first half and went down. This is where you get that argument about like hustle, because like D Book got hurt on a hustle play. He was trying to get back. He has no chance of blocking Jackson Hayes on an outlet dunk. Just go ahead, pull up, give up the deuce, and then get back. You don't. I always want to see my guys hustling, but I think that's like you
don't need to get hurt on some shit like that.
On some, he going full go, tries to block a shot, ends up 4 or 5 rows deep behind the basket, and he's calling for his hamstring. It's like some of these take fouls. Like Mike Conley was having take fouls the other night with like 3 fouls. Yeah. He took a 4th foul with like 10 minutes left in the third quarter. It's like, bro, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Let's smarten up a little bit. So, you know, you never know when you can always get hurt at any spot, but it's tough to see D Book go down on a play like that where he's trying to get back on D and he goes up and pulls the hammy. So that's a big question mark. The Suns can beat the Pelicans without Devin Booker. Can they beat the Warriors? Absolutely not.
Where Golden State's playing right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that. And we're gonna get to that, by the way. I want to talk about that. So yeah, they can't beat those guys. So be on the look for Devin Book on that. I love what our guy CJ McCollum has brought to the Pelicans, man. He just kind of told these dudes like, yo, we got enough here. We can make the playoffs. We can make a little noise. I've seen what it takes to hey, my whole career has been making a little noise in the playoffs. Like, I know about making a little noise. We got enough.
That was a smart move by them, right? Like, you know, you're not going to land some super marquee guy, but you get that kind of second, third tier type player to come in there. Tons of leadership, adds, you know, kind of puts everything together for your team. And since they got him, they're a much better team. I love it. Again, it makes the Zion situation even crazier. Like, why would you not want to come play with this ball club?
Yeah.
I don't care where it is. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So.
And it's tough, man. They have they got my guy Devontae Graham coming off the bench. He can't get any minutes.
Yeah.
Because of CJ, and then Alvarado is playing Alvarado a dog.
No, he steals everything.
Like, hey, man, let me tell you this. Like, this is a perfect example. Alvarado is 4 or 5 times more active than Pat Williams. Like way more active.
It has 10% of the talent.
10% of the talent, 10% of everything. And he's way more active than Pat Williams when he's on the floor. You feel Alvarado when he's on the floor.
Yeah.
He's a 6-foot rookie.
Irritating.
He makes an impact.
Yeah.
He's 6 foot 170.
Soaking
Jose Alvarado.
Yeah.
The guy makes the impact every
He's a
time he's on the
dog.
floor.
He's a dog.
Yeah, he's got like that attitude. You know what I'm saying?
He's a dog.
Pat Williams just doesn't. I don't get that.
No
That's
dog.
where, like, that's a perfect example. You notice when Jose Alvarado's on the floor. Pat Williams, I could barely notice.
Pat Williams
he's
goes
doing.
long stretches of play. You don't have any idea that he's out there.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. Even just touching the ball. There's a times where he doesn't do anything. Like he doesn't even touch the ball. At least I've seen Alvarado running around. He's part of the set. He's handling the ball. He's looking for people to cut. He's making things happen. And it's just not. And I understand he's a point guard. I get that. But it's just way more active, way more of an impact. So, all right. Should we get into who else we got left? Let's see.
T-Wolves Grizz.
Talk to me.
Game 1 was the Ant-Man show. Man, you know, I'm this is Anthony Edwards. I'm all in. All in 100%. Don't care what happens this series. I'm all in 100%. We talk about what Minnesota needed. This is the type of guy they needed. They needed a dog. He's a dog that can hoop. You know what I mean? Like, because he's got the dog in him 1,000%, but he's also extremely talented. Game 1 came out, busted their ass, had 36 points, 1,000% wanted to be there. Was all about the moment, taking the big shots, all that. Get to game 2. We talk about gambling spots. This should have been a fucking layup. I'm so mad at myself for not taking this because Memphis minus whatever they were laying last night, it was a good bet. Yeah. Because there was no way that the Memphis Grizzlies weren't going to smack them in the mouth and come up and get that win at home.
Let me ask you
Minnesota.
Let me ask you this on Minnesota. Go ahead, actually. Then I'll follow up with that.
Well, the thing with Minnesota, and I think if you want to, like, Karl Anthony Towns is the perfect, like, star for the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Because just like the Timberwolves, there's so much good mixed in with a lot of stupid, bad stuff. Like, Karl Anthony Towns is the king of having 2 fouls early and then picking up 3 and 4 on something stupid. You know what I mean? Like, he'll pick up a couple fouls early, and then he'll get the 3rd foul on, like, trying to block someone's shot from behind or going over someone's back for a rebound or shit you shouldn't do when you're a very important player to your team and you're at 3 or 4 fouls, right? So, like, he picks up these fouls quick. They turn the ball over almost like I've never seen. Like, they had 17 turnovers in game 1. I'm not sure how many they had last night, but they just play really dumb basketball for a team that's crazy talented. And they had 19 turnovers last night. So 36 turnovers through 2 games.
20 turnovers.
20? Yeah. So you're averaging 19 turnovers a game in this series. Your team is consistently in foul trouble. They compound the foul trouble by picking up more fouls. And you're playing against a team that's better than you. So, like, I think they have the talent to have a game 1 where shit's clicking and you just can't beat them because offensively they're just so potent. They have so many guys that can score, so many guys that can fill it up. You got Towns, you got Edwards, you got D'Lo, you got Beasley, you got random guys that can get you buckets over there. They play fast-paced, right? They'll put you in a track meet. But if you're able to slow them down a little bit and get them to make a lot of dumb plays, which they're just going to do, you have a game like last night with Memphis. On the Memphis side of it, they just came in the game ready, man. They didn't play well game 1.
They had a little wake-up call.
A little bit of a wake-up call, man. Our boy Taylor Jenkins, shout out Taylor Jenkins. He came out, the game plan was solid, and they smacked him in the mouth and kind of never really looked back. And once the second half hit, it was over with.
They had some big spurts in the game. If you were watching, they had some spurts where it was like a quick 8, 9, 10 points.
Yeah.
From Memphis, timeout. Then they come out quick 8, 7, 8 points, timeout. And they were just fast break. There was a stretch where they weren't running any offense. They were getting boards, and Ja was just pushing the pace and either going to the basket or finding guys in the corner. Jaren Jackson was getting blocks, running the floor. getting transition threes. It was just a really good overall performance for Memphis.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this about the Pat Bev. I think he's got to know when to pipe down a little bit. It's game one. Y'all get a win. It's a great win. Huge win. There's no need to be mocking them on the way to the tunnel. There's no need to be celebrating the way that they were for a game one win. Get out of there. You celebrate the series win like that? Cool, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you should be mocking the number 2 team in the West in their building, and you just won the first game. And y'all, like you said, had 19 turnovers. Y'all got the W. I get it. I it's hard to tell a guy like Pat Bev to turn it off and turn it on.
That's the
But,
problem.
like,
They kind of need it to be on because that team has no fucking pulse.
Right.
When your best player is Cat, and like let's keep it real, zero
Hey,
pulse. You need that.
Let me ask you this. I'm thinking of a phrase with Cat in my head, and it starts with it's 2 words. It starts with an F and an R. Do you know what I'm talking about? An F and an R when I'm talking about Cat, Karl Anthony Towns. Is Karl Anthony Towns a classic front runner?
Yes. I like that.
I think he is.
I like it.
And for those
going well,
when he's going well, he's talking shit. He's flexing. He's doing the whole thing. Yeah, he's doing the whole thing, right?
Has a scowl, which is not
explain to the people what we're talking about when we say front runner.
When it's going well for everybody, when it's going well around him, it's going well for Karl Anthony Towns. He's into it. He's celebrating. You know, if the situation is right, he's your man. He looks great. He looks amazing. When the going gets tough, he folds up, right? He folds up 110%. He needs to be in a situation where everything's going right around him, which is why it's extremely important the players that you put around him, because he's not Embiid where it's like, oh, Ben's not coming to work for the first 40 games of the year.
Give me the ball.
Give me the fucking ball. We're still going to be second in the East, third in the East. We're not going to fold. Whereas with Cat, it's like, that's not what it is.
When shit's not going well.
We're up 20, and I'm getting the ball, and I'm dunking, and I'm flexing my fucking flabby muscles and shit. Like, yeah, I'm on it. You know what I mean? Like, another terrible body guy. But, he's 100% a front runner. I love it. And that's why you need – so when you talk about, like, the Pat Bev and all that, it's like you don't know if you really want Bev to turn it off. You don't really know if you don't want Ant-Man to play with that type of confidence that causes him to jack up some bad shots. Because if they don't do that, you're not getting it from Cat. He's just not built that way. And it's not one of those things where it's like maybe he can turn it around. Cat has been in the league for a very long time. He is who he is at this point as a player. Extremely talented, right? Has the ability to create some matchup problems, to shoot the ball. Very skilled, but he's not like – he's just not a dog, man. He doesn't
Cat's
have
not
that.
going to be the guy that has 37, 12, and 5 in a loss. He's going to be the guy that has 15, 3, and 5 in a loss. And you're going to know exactly why they lost. And when they're winning and they win by a dozen, he's going to be the guy that had 36, 12, and 7, and they were ahead the whole game. He's your classic. Cat is your classic front runner. Not like you said, all right, you guys don't want to show up tonight. Y'all are off tonight. All right, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
He's the guy that when shit's rolling for everyone, it seems like he plays his best. He doesn't have that other piece in him. But yeah, that when I watch Cat, that's what I think of. I'm like, man, this guy's a front runner, dog.
Yeah, I like that.
That's it. That's all. All right. Who else we got?
GSW Denver. Hey, man, Denver, great year by Jokic, man. Overmatched. Beyond overmatched.
Hey, listen, bro.
Take this series off TV.
I don't like that he's getting slander for how he's playing in the series. He's getting locked up by Draymond Green, one of the best defenders we've ever seen.
Jokic is getting slander? Oh, because because the MVP, the crowd. Yeah.
He has absolutely no help.
Yeah.
He's feeding the ball to Will the Thrill, who I like. But come on. Like
Will the Thrill shouldn't be your second most important player.
Let's be serious, right? So he's dealing with that. Then Aaron Gordon's not showing up. Like there's just
shocker.
there's there's just no way. Like go look at the roster.
The roster's trash.
The roster is trash. Of course, they were always going to get mashed in this spot. I thought they'd win a game or two, but
Will Barton played 36 minutes last night.
Dude, Will Barton is the only guy that lets it fly.
Yeah.
Like, there's also these situations where, like, say what you want about Will Barton. Sometimes you need guys that are not afraid to get shots up.
Oh, absolutely.
And like he'll get shots up. Like
he's gonna shoot the ball.
He's
never
rock.
scared.
I'll
Yeah,
shoot
the
it.
ball.
There's guys that won't put it up either.
Well, we can't talk about Pat Williams like we just did, and then give slander to Will Barton because exactly. It's like the opposite. It's like you need be aggressive because on the nights that it works, Will Barton can help you in a victory. But
it's like everybody listening, you guys have been in a pickup game. You ever been in a pickup game where you look at your team and you're like, this is not really my game, but I'm gonna have to try to shoot this bitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it fly.
I guess like I'm the second best scorer out here. Like I'm gonna have to get these shots up. Like that's Will Barton looks around and is like, man, no one else is gonna shoot this shit outside of Jokic. So if I catch it in transition, it's going up. That's it, and that's all. So I think that's where it's tough that Jokic is getting slandered because he's dealing with Draymond Green. He has no help. He's playing on the road, and in his eyes, he's also getting beat up on the block. So he's getting ejected. He's complaining about it, but still a bad game.
He's been getting. One thing with Jokic is folks have been taking shots at Jokic in game, like I'm talking about physical hard shots and trying to kind of beat up on him because they think he's a soft Euro, which he's not.
Yeah.
All year. So I think that's a lot of that is him being fed up. I think he's been fed up.
Did you see Gary Payton Jr. give him a tap on the butt on the way during the timeout?
He
folks is not having it. He did not appreciate that.
Gary Payton Jr. learned from the best. So
yes.
Yeah.
That's such a
dog.
That's such a good way. That's such a good way to get under yeah. Hey man. Hey, I'll see you. Hey man, just go head to the bench, bro. Y'all down, bro.
Try harder.
So, all right, listen. Let's talk about the Warriors. I know they look sensational right now. And this doesn't look any better now that Devin Booker went down. But also, so from what I could tell, it looks like everyone has the Warriors all of a sudden. 2 games, they play 2 games against the Nuggets at home with Jokic having no help and Jordan Poole playing out of his mind. And now everyone now they're unbeatable. Is that where we're at? Because that's what it seems like from what I'm reading on Twitter and listening to people. They get home, they bust the Nuggets in 2 games. Jordan Poole goes for a career high and then backs it up with 29. Now career high. Now Jordan Poole's a splash brother as well. Like and I've tweeted this and I've said it multiple times. Jordan Poole is a killer. He's been a killer all year. He's shown you that. But I think we're getting a little out in front of what, like, it sucks that Booker went down because literally yesterday before the tip in Phoenix, I think you could have asked people and it was going to be 50-50 who won the West all of a sudden. Now it's like, oh yeah, I'm on the Warriors.
I'm on the Warriors.
Oh yeah, you see the Warriors? I'm on the Warriors. And it's like, hey man, listen, I get it, but let's pipe down a little bit. They're playing the Denver Nuggets who have no roster, and Jokic has to deal with Draymond Green. And this is a really, really good matchup for them.
Yeah, I agree 110%.
Let's chill out a little bit.
I'm not ready to be like, Golden State, man, they're gonna run through the West, and the Booker injury. This is the second favorite team in there. Like I still take Memphis in a 7-game series against the Warriors, if we're being completely honest. And like you said, they're playing against a Denver team that undermanned is an understatement for the Denver team. It's Jokic and a ragtag bunch of guys that just play hard. And good coaching from Malone. Shout out Mike Malone. But
should Jokic look to get out of there, low-key?
Out of Denver? No. He's got everything he needs. Because when Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray come back, I mean, you're talking about 45 points.
No,
he's missing 45 points from his roster. Like, let's keep it real. And Murray is a guy who can handle the rock, a guy who can take some pressure off of Jokic to have to do everything.
That's what he needs.
Yeah, so like Murray is the perfect. Murray and Jokic are the perfect. Murray's the perfect player to play with Jokic because he's a good enough ball handler that he can take off that pressure, but he's not like, yo, I need the rock all day long and you go play over there. And they play off each other really well. So no, I'm not ready to say that. You remember how Murray was in that series in the bubble against Utah? Him and Donovan Mitchell were trading 50-point games left and right. So no, Jamal Murray is a fucking killer. He's at the crib right now. He's girls with him. He's getting superpowers back up. And he'll be all right. He'll be all right when he comes back, man. He's had a lot of time off. Yeah. He's very relaxed. I
would just hate to see him be in a situation like Dame, where year after year he has all NBA years, and we're looking at Denver like, yeah, they got no shot.
But we were just talking about Will Barton. Imagine if you take Will Barton and now he's your fourth option on offense. Because when Porter Jr. and Murray come back, that's what happens. Now that's a really good team.
Well,
now,
I think Porter Jr. is still a big question mark, though, dog.
Well, yeah, he might stay
is what it is, right?
Like but
Jamal Murray's coming off of ACL. Porter Jr.'s back seems to be shot. Like he needs some help. They need to go get him some more help this offseason. Add to what. Don't let your guy fester like a lot of other franchises have. This dude is going to be a 2-time MVP. Call one is 100% deserved. Who knows if he should have got if he should win back to back. But still, man, like get him some help ASAP. But
hey, real quick, shout out our guy Danny Polska in the comments, man. I know you always want us to talk baseball, man. Yeah. Shout out the White Sox, man. After when this NBA wraps up, man, we'll be talking some baseball in the summer a little bit.
Yo, Polska's he's from Poland too. He's out there watching in Poland, from what I understand.
Oh, is he?
So shout out our guy. Yeah.
Shout out Lewandowski.
No doubt. But yeah, man, I think I love that Clay is getting. He seems to be back. He's playing full 40, 36, 37 minutes a night.
Yeah.
They look dangerous, sure, but I think it's like
it's too much.
I think it's a little too much love going on right now because Jordan Poole is not going to score 30 a night. Say what you want. He's going to come back down to earth a little bit.
I don't know, man. He has been hooping the second half of the year. Like the numbers are pretty consistent. Like it's like a 25 point per game scorer.
Yeah. Is he gonna? So are they gonna? Let me ask you this: should Steve Kerr just run out that super small lineup?
Yes.
All day, just run them off. Just try to run people off the floor like they used to.
Yep. Lineup of death 2.0. Why not? Why not? It's your best five.
Yeah, it is your best five, no doubt about that.
And yeah, you can bring in Kuminga when you need to, it's different stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you got some options as far as what you can do. Yeah, I like it.
Otto, they could bring Otto in too.
Big
the money man.
Otto.
Otto.
They should sit our boy on the bench. What's his name? Wiggins. He sucks.
It's funny, like he kind of has just faded a little bit. He was an all-star, bro.
He's been terrible.
All-star starter, bro.
Yeah, all-star starter. That's just been playing in the fucking San Francisco.
He gets to say that the rest of his life, bro. All-star starter, Andrew Wiggins.
He sucks. The cowardly lion.
The cowardly lion. Another guy that just kind of, we could talk. We've talked.
That's why Jimmy went to Minnesota, saw Cat and Wiggins, was like, "Hey, Tim, this is not it. This is absolutely not it.
This is not it." So.
Didn't sign up for this. All right, moving on.
Yeah, it's Dallas. Dallas. Last one is Dallas, Utah.
God, I don't care.
No?
It's just a series that, like, with no Luka, I have zero interest in this series.
They said he's playing game 3.
Is he?
They say he's back.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. That'll be cool. I want to watch Luka.
Part of you doesn't want to see the Jazz implode some more.
No, I do want to see the Jazz implode. Oh, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I cannot wait for Donovan Mitchell to request to get traded to the New York Knicks.
It's happening immediately, huh? Right after
it's happening. Oh my God!
His house is packed up.
The shit is already typed up. As soon as the tweet is in the drafts. You know what I'm saying? The tweet is in the draft. He can't wait to get up out of there.
Yeah.
No, I want to see the Jazz implode fully, 100%. I want to see Denver or Dallas win this in 5. I want to see Luka come back and bust their ass. And I want to see. I'm so sick of this Jazz thing too. Like I don't want to watch them.
No.
I'm sick of a team that wins a bunch of games and isn't a legit contender in my mind.
What is it about the core that they just can't get it done? What is it? Is it that Donovan Gobert relationship has a big part of it, or is it
I think that has a huge part of it. I think that they're a team that they have a great game plan. They got great chemistry as far as like how they move the ball around and all the shooters and all that, but they don't. Outside of Mitchell, man, like in the playoffs, who are you trusting over there like that to put up points? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You saw in the bubble, Mitchell had to go for like 50 every night, and they still lost that series against Denver, right?
I think a big, I think.
And then you're paying Gobert $40 million to be non-existent on offense.
I think a lot of this falls for me on Connolly. He hasn't been playing that well. He's supposed to be the guy like running the show, letting people know what's up, pushing the pace, and adding 15 a night. And he's not doing either. Donovan seems to just run the show. Connolly kind of kicks it as well. But Connolly hasn't been playing that well. And he's just not. He was brought there to bring them some leadership. And he's just out there not really doing that. And he's not scoring and he's not distributing. He's been a zero.
Yeah.
So that's where I think it's been tough for them because they could use some leadership dealing with the Donovan and the Gobert thing.
But those are your leaders.
It looks a little fractured.
Yeah. And D said in the comments, Ingles, the Ingles injury was huge.
Sure.
Absolutely. Ingles was
massive
for them. Yeah, massive for them. But even with him, I don't think that this team is – you just know the deal with Utah, man. That's that.
Yeah, it's just because I've been watching closely, and like you said, I don't really care about the series overall. I just want to watch Luka play ball, but I also want to see like why can't these dudes got a lot of talent. Like even House Jr. is playing solid when he needs to for the most part, but like I look and I'm like, man, I don't think Connolly, like Bogdanovich has it when he needs to, he can score. And I look and I'm like, man, who's not? And I think it's Connolly who's not really doing what needs to be done overall.
Why'd you make Mike Conley Irish all of a sudden? Mike Conley? Good old Mike Conley.
I think it's Mike Conley. Like, I think yeah, but I think it's Mike Conley who's not pulling that weight. And I think he could do more for them. It just hasn't come together, man. I don't know.
It's the same thing every year, man. Like, it's the same thing every year, man. Like, you know what's going to happen with them. They're going to flame out, whether it's against the Clippers and Terrence Mann or whoever it's going to be. They're just, to me, they're not a title contender, even at whole. That just is what it is.
That's it. Now Luka's going to come in. Now you got Luka coming back.
Yep.
Shout out. Hey, you want to talk about Jalen Brunson real quick? Just to give him some love because we already told y'all.
Listen, we've been telling y'all for years.
Boy, is a killer.
I don't understand it. I don't get what you needed to see.
Now he's added a 3 balls in the package.
Now 3 balls in the package.
Now the 3 balls in the package.
Yeah. Pay that man his money. And he's going to get paid this summer. And it's not going to be by Dallas. And he's going to get paid this summer. And that's that. They brought in Dinwiddie. I think they brought in Dinwiddie because they knew that the Jalen Brunson bag was probably going to get too large.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jalen Brunson, man, look, again, if the scouting report is this guy's going to play 10 to 15 years in the league, you should probably draft him because you're drafting guys ahead of him that can't play 10 to 15 minutes in the league. You're drafting guys like the Bulls. Seriously, the Bulls took Hutchinson that year. Hutchinson is out of the league. Out of the league. Meanwhile, Jalen Brunson's about to get a bag and he goes in the second round. It's the same thing with Ayo to a lesser extent. It's like, I don't watch a ton of college ball, but I could have told you that Ayo Dosunmu was going to be a good NBA player. I don't watch a ton of college ball. I watched enough Jalen Brunson in college to tell you, like, he might not be a blazing athlete. He might not have a 40-inch vertical. He absolutely understands how to play the game, and there's a role for him in the NBA. Now, he's taken it past what I thought he was going to be. Like, he's legit, but yeah, man, like I don't understand what these people are looking for. I know what they're looking for. They're looking for you to be a teenager, but come on, man.
They're looking for you to be a teenager that can all of a sudden turn into guys that you're looking for, basically. It's kind of like this. Yeah, the guy that's already you're looking for the guy that's already playing how Jalen Brunson's playing.
Exactly. Yes.
That could take it maybe past and like do what he's doing now. I guess in short, you see Jalen Brunson and you see a fully developed game, or you think that's what you're seeing. And then these other guys are not developed, so they got a huge upside. But yeah, man, Jalen Brunson's been doing it.
But do you remember that leading up to the draft, though? It's like, yeah, he's gonna play 10, 15 years in the league. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about then?
Yeah.
If you're gonna pay someone for 15 years to play professional basketball, they're probably worthy of a draft pick in the first round, because you're not getting 15 years from a lot of guys, 10 years. Like, this dude is gonna stay in the league. I don't get it. Yeah. And the medicals were fine, right? It wasn't like a medical shit. So what are we talking about here? It won national championships, player of the year. Yeah.
Everything you want. He won
everything you want. He won it twice.
He won it up. Shout out Jay Wright. All right. Let's close the show. Man, me and Nick could talk about this shit all day. Let's close the show. Adrian Wojnarowski said gambling with this whole Kyrie thing, the relationship with the fan and the player is only going to get worse now that we have live betting and gambling available. This is Woj on NBA Today.
We're going to see more of this in the league. Nothing to do with, there's a different dynamic with Kyrie Irving in Boston. Mm-hmm. But as gambling becomes more prevalent in the arena, people gambling on almost everything that goes on with a game, and they're drinking, players, organizations, and you talk to them, they already feel it in the arena. And when people are losing money in real time and they're pointing to a player on the court that said, hey, I bet you to score more points in the second quarter than somebody else, and I lost. You're adding an element to that we're not talking as much about, but is a real factor in this league. And I think you are going to see more instances of fans being even more vitriolic toward players in this league. And it's an issue they're going to have to deal with, but it comes, I think, with the influx of gambling money that everyone's going to profit off of, both players and the league and the BRI. Yeah. But it's going to impact the way the relationship between fans and players in real time.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, for sure. Obviously, right? And it's the same thing. It's not new. It's the same thing that the NFL has been dealing with like fantasy football. If you listen to a lot of these guys, they get DMs from fantasy owners like, oh, can't believe he didn't score a touchdown. And The difference is the in-arena shit. The NFL, you can't really hear when you're being heckled like that. The NBA, it's right on you. Like you said, you add in the drinking, you add in these dumbasses, and yeah, for sure, man. It's something that they 100% are going to have to deal with, and it's definitely a problem. And I'm sure they're already feeling it. Yeah, I agree. There's nothing.
I mean, I agree with what he's saying, and it might take it up a notch, but who cares?
Yeah.
Y'all are lining your pockets with all this money.
Well, that's what he said, yeah.
Like, it is what it is. If I paid, by the way, if you can hear me talking to you, that means I paid probably $600-$700 for this season, by the way. If you can hear what I'm saying to you, I probably paid a big dollar amount for the seat that I'm sitting in. And then if I bet $500 on you to score 30 and you don't score it, and I want to remind you of that, so what?
So would you heckle based on that? Because I've been to plenty of games with you, and that's not your style. I feel like you're a funny heckler. Like, it's funny shit. You know what I mean? Like, I can never picture you be like, man, Michael Conley, you cost me 15. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
never. I would never do that. That's cornball activity. Like, I'm not going to be like, yo, Dwight, you got 9 boards. I need 10. You a bum. Like, that's stupid. Yeah, but like, I'm heckling to have fun and go back and forth with people. But who cares? Yeah, it might get a little more heated in the building. I think at the end of the day, man, these guys are getting paid so much bread. I don't care. Yeah. It's honestly one of those things where, like, I don't really want to hear them talking about the fans at all. Like, unless it's some racial thing or your family, I get that. That's like where you draw the line. That's when the
shit goes a little too far. Yeah.
But if it gets a little more heated and someone's yelling at me because of a prop bet, who cares?
Yeah, that's your money, not mine.
It is what it is. Like, I think we're just, man, like overall, it's just like soft stuff going
Oh
on.
yeah, well, welcome to 2022.
Yeah, where it's like, who cares? Like,
Yeah, who cares?
but
And like I said,
guess,
the NFL's been dealing with this with the fantasy shit. You got cats running up on you in the street, you know what I'm saying, yelling at you.
you costing my fantasy championship.
Costing my fantasy team. Like, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's just kind of what it is, man. I'm not worried about it. Again, man, as long as you don't cross these lines that you shouldn't cross with anybody in any setting, you know what I mean? Unless they're ready for that, and it's all good. If it's like, hey, you suck, woo. It's no different than you heckling KCP, me giving it to Dwight. You know what I mean? I'm not coming at their family or anything like that. But I'm also not going to be like, Alvin Kamara, man, where's my touchdown? Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to heckle based on a bet that I made.
And I think it is more it's more the alcohol than anything.
Yeah, for sure.
It has nothing to do with. I think it's more that than people gambling on sports. I think it's hilarious that people think people just started gambling on sports this year.
Yeah, it's not new.
Like, bro, people been gambling on sports fucking 20 years, 30 years, 40 years,
50 years, 60 years.
What are we talking about? Like,
we've been betting on the horse race, everything. Like, it's nothing new.
The volume is up.
1919 Black Sox. Like, come on, man. Like, whatever. Like,
the volume is up, so it might be a little different to where more people are doing it. But
I think it's the fact that you're sitting there betting on a game on your phone, and it's the live bets that they're talking about. I'm at the game. I want some action.
Yeah. Exactly. So
whatever. You'll adjust. They'll figure it out, man. Like, I'm not.
Especially when they see these checks coming in.
Absolutely.
Figure it out quickly.
Big ass partnerships. Yeah, you have Coinbase Arena.
Yeah.
Crypto.com. You know what I mean? Like,
DraftKings.
DraftKings.
In the arena.
Yeah, I don't know. Not Coinbase. You know what I mean? I mean, like DraftKings. Yeah.
Oh,
BetMGM. Yeah, all the people, man. Yeah. It is what it is. Don't cross the line. It is. It's the game, man.
It is what it is.
It's not the first hostile environment. They used to have a courthouse underneath the Philadelphia football stadium. So,
yes, exactly. All right, tonight, Nets Celtics tip first, 6. Hey, one more question real quick before we get out of here. So we got Nets Celtics at 6. Then we got Raptors 76ers at 7. Bulls Bucks at 8:30. The way they're staggering the games makes me want to get another TV. Because, like, the other game is tipping, like, in the second quarter, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I can't even watch both of the games. I'm missing. Yeah. I'm going back and forth. And we've got lucky. There's been a couple blowouts. Like, I switched off of Miami last night. And even they came back. And even the Hawks came back a little bit. But I switched off Miami last night and then went to Grizz in Memphis. Or Grizz in Minnesota. But it's like, man, I might have to get another TV. Like, that's how I feel about it. But this is how it always is during the first round, bro. It's just so many games.
Shit.
Yeah, where it's tough. It's tough to keep up.
Yep.
All right. We'll leave it there. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. Make sure you subscribe everywhere. Tell the homies to tell a homie to tell a friend. YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. We're everywhere. Hey, man, get home safe. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. We out here.